Gabe made this beat.
Welcome to Say Like a Champ, episode 174. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy. What's good, SLAC family? Welcome back.
Welcome back. We in the building, running a little bit late, but that's okay. That's not like it's anything too new. We already got some slackers in the building beating us to the punch. Want to welcome everybody in the show. Let's go ahead and do the rounds real quick. We got Moms, happy Tuesday. We got Kelly, happy Tuesday as well. Grace in the building. She said, final show of 2022. Great job, you three. Thank you very much, Grace. Yeah, I can't believe it. Already, 2022 is over just that fast. So
seriously, it's crazy.
Very crazy. But we did pretty good. We stayed consistent, kept our streak alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We'll hit 200 next year, I think, at some point. So
that's
to look forward to. But thank you, Grace, for being in the building. Thank you, Unc, for being here. Hello.
For sure.
We got Anthony Wesson as well. What's good? Then we
man?
got Pops. Good evening, first time. Another GOAT. That's what's up. Pops is the GOAT, especially of this debate shit. So I can't wait. We got to get Pops back on the show pretty soon here too. So But thank you guys all for being in the building. We're gonna go ahead and get it popping here in just a second. But before we do, Strizzy, I did want to ask you how was your holiday this week and how you doing? Just a quick check in.
Oh yeah, man. I'll check with you too, man. But yeah, man, it was cool, man. Just spending time with family, watching the girls, do their thing, open up their gifts and all that fun stuff. So it's always chill, you know what I'm saying? Pockets empty, but it's worth it. What about you?
Same. That budget's always looking a little bit different after, after everything falls, but it's all good. Had a really great time this year with family. Things were a little bit different. We had like more celebrations to be at. So we had to be on the road a little bit to make sure we made all the stops we needed to, but it was really great. We got to have like a lot of like miniature celebrations, you know what I'm saying? So it was good. And then definitely seeing the nephews, have fun with their toys and stuff. That's what it's all about for me, the kiddos for sure. So that was good. And then lots of treats, you know what I'm saying? Lots of good cookies, homemade stuff. So got some empanadas from my boy as well. So I appreciate that. That was definitely
fire, man.
We gotta bake more often, honestly. Like I'm like, we don't have to wait until just the end of the year. We do Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we gotta get baking all through the year. Kelly said empty pockets definitely worth it for sure. So, but that was like our little holiday recap. Hopefully everybody out there had a great holiday. Wishing nothing but the best for you and yours, and then also into this weekend's holiday and in celebrating the new year. So definitely lots to look forward to. But let's go ahead and get things popping. We're gonna bring up our graphics here, and we'll get into our first topic of the day. What's up next?
Oh, let's check it out, man, real quick.
Tune to NFL Talk.
Let's get it.
All right, NFL Talk. We just wrapped up Week 16 last night. Monday Night Football last night was the end of Week 16. We have 2 more weeks to go, which is crazy to think about. But we're going to look at the scoreboard real quick before we get into some playoff scenarios and some breaking news. Strizzy, any games that caught you off guard this week or that kind of stood out to you over the Christmas Day and Christmas Eve games?
That butt kicking that LA gave the Broncos, that was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah, you're good. No, that one, honestly, that one surprised me the most. Not even so much that they beat them, because it was really a game of, two kind of rough teams this year, you know what I mean? But it was just how bad, like, Baker Mayfield was very, 50-something points he put up against the Broncos. But, this wasn't that good defense too. Poor offense. So that was crazy. I love the Panthers winning, keeps them in line for that division win. Just sucks. Just like when the Panthers lost, Bucks lost, and every time the Panthers win, you know what I'm saying, Bucks win. So they're not making it easier for us to catch that division, but really happy to see what they did against the Lions. I mean, they crazy over 300 yards rushing, another 250 passing through the air. I think we had, 200 something rushing yards in the first half. You know, I mean, it was crazy. So huge shout out to the boys. They played a hell of a game.
They did. Yeah, that one surprised me too. But I do hope, Wilkes, we've talked about this, but I do hope he gets the job. I feel like what's going on with the Panthers is stuff to build on into next year, even if they don't make the playoffs.
For sure.
The fact that they're alive in the playoff race and potentially in the division for that one, that's really dope, man. So that's really exciting. All hope was lost after week 7. So
yeah, but he's definitely deserving. I hope that what he was able to do with them mid-season, coming, bad coaching, it's just everything. You know what I mean, to build off what he's been a bit of. It'd be nice to see what he can do with the full off season and a draft under his belt. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I really like the direction they're going, and he has the locker room. Like literally everybody is basically advocating for that job for him. So if you have the locker room, your boys are going to play a little bit harder for you every week. So they're playing really hard for him. So it's going to be hard though. You know what I mean? Our last 2 games are both away games. We have to go to Tampa, and we also have to go to New Orleans in order to win both of those to get the division. But we do have the best division record in our division. So as long as we win out, we win the division. So but still, it's going to be really, really tough. But kind of like you said, man, winner playoffs or not, like I like what we're looking forward to next season.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Before we get into too many more games, want to welcome Stephanie Washington in the show. Hey. Hope you had a great Christmas holiday out there in Vegas, and also hope you enjoyed that Cowboys victory on Christmas Eve. I did want to talk about that one a little bit. It was pretty good. The Cowboys defense came through when they needed to, but they're still giving up a lot of points, even though the Eagles had their backup quarterback. But it was fun that they were able to win that game. We talked about it last week, that meaning a lot more to the Cowboys than the Eagles. But the Cowboys technically still alive to get the to win their division too, depending on what happens over these next couple games.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm still feeling nervous. I can't get too excited yet. Like I just like though that Dak was sharp after that first interception. Like the first interception was inexplicable, just threw it right to the other guy. But after that, he definitely sharpened up and did what we had to do to kind of secure that game. But that was an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. He definitely sharpened up. Dak won that game for them. They really bottled up the Cowboys running game. You know what I mean? So, but I think the scary part about it is Jalen Hurts doesn't make those same turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So they have to be even better the next time they play him. So, they can still do it. It's still alive. I feel like the Eagles team as a whole is still really good. So even these last 2 weeks, even if Hurts doesn't play, I think Minshew with that team, they probably still win out. You know what I mean? But we'll see how it goes. But I think they'll see each other again in the playoffs in the second game.
I think so too. I agree. Kelly said Rams gave mom a big gift. Most definitely, that was like their Christmas miracle. That might have been that might have been pretty much it for the season for them. Definitely was it for some of the Broncos personnel for them. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second. Anthony Weston also put in here Chiefs from 1960 to 2017. They only had 5 12-win seasons. And now from 2018 to this year, 5 12-win seasons. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Talk about changing the franchise and now the Chiefs got all you guys like Anthony Weston and Bobby and all you Chiefs fans extra spoiled now. Because now every year it's 12 wins or bust, playoffs or bust, AFC championship or bust. But
it really goes to show, man, like how good of a coach Andy Reid is. You know what I mean? Like think about all the big win seasons that he had with the Eagles too. You know what I mean? And
true.
Getting to the Super Bowl with them as well. So we talk a lot about like the Bill Belichick's and the Kyle Shanahan's, but I feel like we don't talk about Andy Reid enough because he's a big time, really, really good coach as well.
Yeah, agreed. He is. I think it's interesting that he hasn't walked away yet, though. But hopefully, maybe one more Super Bowl or two for Anthony Weston and all the Chiefs fans out there, and then maybe he can ride off into the sunset.
For sure. I think he wants one more.
Yeah. The Jags Jets last Thursday was a good one. The Jags are still alive in the AFC South. and they're kind of putting together over the past month or so, some good football. It's interesting to see how they've work with their draft picks and kind of turn the franchise around, and then Doug Peterson being a good hire for them. So that was a pretty good result. The Bengals Patriots, man, the Patriots defense is playing so great, but their offense always finds a way to give it away late. With the fumble, they had a chance to win that game potentially. So that was a close one, but got to give credit to Bill Belichick for keeping his guys in the games, even though they're usually outmatched. So
definitely. I think the Jets too, like for some reason, man, like Wilson just doesn't move the offense well enough. So if their run game's not moving, they're not moving either. I wouldn't be surprised, depending on where they land in the draft, you know what I mean, if they start looking for someone to back him, if they're not going to move forward with Mike White. But I just feel like Zach Wilson's days as a starting quarterback are very, very numbered.
Agreed, yeah. Mike White was cleared for the rest of the year, so it doesn't look like we'll see Wilson. And it's crazy, though. We talk about this every year, too, with the draft, right? And it's like this guy's a franchise quarterback. This guy's a can't miss and stuff. And they say that about 3 or 4 or 5 guys every year.
Yeah.
But really, it's not that easy to find a bona fide quarterback.
Just got to get lucky, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of got to get lucky.
Exactly, yeah, agreed. Anthony Weston asked what's going on with the Titans, though. I did actually pick the Texans because they have been building some really solid performances. And the Titans, I think that their main problem is they just can't score the ball. If they don't have turnovers on defense or short field, they can't really score the ball. And I think they're definitely on the downside, though. What are your thoughts on the Titans right now?
Same, man. You know what it is? I was saying a long time ago, it's like you do everything you can to stop Derrick Henry, and it makes them easier to beat. And as long as you can get physical with him, you know, they're so one-dimensional. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you know, until they figure something out where they can start being a little bit more two-dimensional, allowing their quarterback to get to the receivers a little bit, they're kind of found out. You know what I mean? I think a lot of teams kind of found them out. I think the Ravens, I think, exposed them. I can't remember if it was last year or this. I think it was last season. I think the Ravens exposed them a little bit, and once they did, teams started playing them a little bit differently. So they'll change some things. I think they still have a great coaching staff, still one of the greatest running backs in the league right now. But I think they just kind of got found out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So they'll back to the drawing board a little bit. But you know, that division's not as weak as it's been. The Jaguars are up and coming. You know what I mean? And Colts will figure it out. They still have a great running back. I would say a decent offensive line, but for some reason they're not performing very well. Maybe it's just injuries or whatever. But you know, divisions change every year, man. They gotta switch it up too.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I agree. Anthony Weston also put in there they should have kept Brown. That did help them when they were in those, clear and obvious passing situations to have a guy that they could just throw the ball up to and he'll go get it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Losing him was huge.
Yeah. Like you said, though, they were kind of found out, but it was like last year or certain times, it doesn't matter that they were found out because they were still good enough to get 4 or 5 yards of carry,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's just not working the same, this year, like you said.
Yep.
Pops asked about Mike White and the Jets. Why don't they call the same plays for Wilson? I don't know. I think that they tried early in the year, but I do think, like you said, Strizzy, I feel like that their mind, that coaching staff is just kind of, their mind's kind of made up that he's not that guy.
The funny thing is, I think the thing is they were, you know what I mean? They were. So they were definitely running the same plays for Wilson. The problem was he just wasn't making those plays. You remember they had that great ground game at the beginning of the season. So Zach didn't have to do too much, right? And then when they lost him for the season, then it was like, all right, Zach, we need you to do a little bit more. And it just wasn't working. You know, they had Garrett Wilson, their big time, first round pick receiver, and he wasn't getting the ball at all. And then you plug Mike White in, all of a sudden Garrett Wilson has 2 of his best games as a pro. You know what I mean? I think the first game he had 2 touchdowns over like almost 200 yards receiving. The next game after that, he had over 100 yards receiving, another touchdown. And then as soon as they went back to Zach Wilson, kind of had another, kind of a dud again. So it was like,
right.
So I think the coach was basically like, all right, what can I do to make Zach Wilson, comfortable? And part of that was taking some of the plays that they would normally run out. So I think that's what it was. I can't say for sure, Pops, but I think that's what it was a little bit. I think they just like, what can we do to let Zach be successful? And it still just wasn't necessarily working.
Yeah, I agree. And then when they see, that comparison to Mike White, when he came in and did it, they're like, okay, well, you must be the problem, right?
Yeah.
It does suck though that Breece Hall went down like that because the Jets were on a very good trajectory, with that running game, and when things fell apart, it just didn't work there. Pop says Wilson is so much more talented than White. Not even close. Wilson may need a change of scenery. Yeah, it's like that, but it's scary that he could go different routes, right? He might end up doing well with the change of scenery, or he might end up like homeboy from Cal, Josh Rosen, right? That just
Yeah.
like you miss on your first couple of stops and then that's it. So
Right.
that's an interesting one.
It's crazy as a quarterback. You only get so many years before you kind of get dropped off at the wayside. You know what I mean? So if he
Right.
does get a change of scenery, it's kind of like Baker, right? Like you better make do with it, or even Sam Darnold, same spot, Jets. Like you better make do with it, or else you're out.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Anthony Weston was saying about identical numbers to Alex Smith. It's just, it's about the expectation of what you're being asked to do. Because just like we saw, his play in the first 5 weeks of the season was perfect, but then that's not good enough anymore. So, interesting there. I think we'll go ahead and move on. I did want to mention though the Giants Vikings game. That was a really good game. Came down to a long field goal.
Yeah.
But I got to give credit to the Giants. They're just hanging in there, and they're playing really good football considering that they're just not seemingly as talented as some of the other teams that they're going up against, but they're just figuring it out. So I hate to give them credit. Marcus would say, don't give them no credit if he was here.
I feel like, you know what, though? I feel like that's coaching, man. I keep forgetting his name, but he was the offensive coordinator for the Bills last year.
Yeah.
But I think that's coaching, man. You find a good coach, you find ways to win, regardless of who you got around you. So they're finding ways to win and stay close. But getting close to the end of the season, they got to win some more games, I think, to get into the playoffs. But they're right there. They're on the cusp.
Agreed. Yep. Agreed. All right. Let's go ahead and move into. We're going to jump into the second part of NFL talk, which we'll just go over some breaking news and then, or not breaking news, but some news from around the league, and then also go through the playoff scenarios. Pops did mention Tua out again. This is his third time in concussion protocol this year. They're saying he still has potentially time to get cleared before this weekend's matchup, but I don't really like it. I'm not sure if he actually will come back, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't. I think this is just too frequent at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Tua?
Man, this is what it's. What's crazy is that it's his third concussion, but it's only his second time in protocol.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Because the first time they didn't make,
they messed up the first time, and what I mean, it's scary, man. You know what I mean? Like they failed again. Like if he was in concussion protocol, you know what I mean, and they kept him in the game again, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna get this young man killed, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's really, really scary. Concussions are a very serious thing. I'm like, a little bit of bias, but you look at number wise, Luke Kuechly's one of the greatest linebackers during his time and his tenure as a player in the NFL, and he made the decision to retire early because of concussions. You know what I mean? And Tua's had 3 this season. You know what I mean? Like that I don't know. It's insane. And that last hit, man, could be your last. And I'm with you. I hope they don't. I hope he sits out. I get it. You're on the cusp of making the playoffs. You believe you're the best option for your team to win, but your life's not worth it. You know what I mean? Like it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Pop says, he's done. Anthony Weston, they're going to sit him. It's going to look bad if he goes out there again. Stephanie Washington says, man, CTE is real.
For real.
And that's true. So hopefully he takes a second to think about that. But I don't know. Like, I feel from his perspective, he's going to be like, what's the difference if I play tomorrow or in 2 years or something? I think he's going to want to get out there. But I just would hate to see something very, even more serious than what's already happened to him. And he has become like the poster child for concussion protocol in the NFL. And, that was like the big story earlier this year. So to see him in the concussion protocol again is not cool. So, some other things, JJ Watt announced his retirement today in kind of a shocking fashion, but kind of a cool fashion. He posted a picture of his son at the game on Sunday on Christmas Day, and basically said, his son's first game, his last home game, and kind of use that way to announce his retirement. He'll have 2 more games left, but my question, I guess, is the first question that comes to everybody's mind: is he a Hall of Famer? Yes or no?
I guess he is. He will be. He'll get in. You know, it's tough because he played for the Texans for so long and not very many good seasons. You know what I mean? Probably more bad seasons than good ones,
Right.
honestly. But it's always individual numbers. He has multiple sack leading seasons. He has multiple defensive players of the year. You know what I mean? So and who doesn't love JJ Watt? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like he'll get in, but I think Anthony just said too, injuries hurt some numbers. You know what I mean? So maybe not first ballot, but I think eventually he gets in.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you said, it comes down to the likability factor, honestly, to go on top of what he's done. You can have
Exactly.
some other players with similar career numbers, but not as likable, maybe not always the captain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the big personality off the field. Also with his brothers and it being like a football family thing, I feel like all that just kind of adds to, his like legend, if you will, or the
Yep.
mystique of JJ Watt. If you break it down, obviously he was a beast early on in his career, had some really
Yeah.
great numbers, but I don't know. I don't know if he would match up to the Hall of Fame resume of some other DNs in there, but I do think he will get in, especially
Yeah.
for like a modern day player. So Pop says for sure only one of four players to have 20 plus sacks, and he did it twice.
Yeah.
Great point.
I
Okay.
was just going to say, I know the positions are different, say like Calvin Johnson got in, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, Megatron's one of my favorite receivers all time, but same thing, a lot of injuries, concussion stuff, missed a lot of games, but still a beast. So like, it's just likability, love for there's a lot more that goes into Hall of Fame now than just like stats or
Just pure
championships.
stats.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he'll get in. Pops is right. He'll get in.
Agreed. We'll see if it's going to be first ballot or if he'll have to wait a little bit. But yeah, definitely, definitely kudos to him though for going out kind of on top too before he got too far down.
Yeah.
So that's legit. Don't want to overstay your welcome. Speaking of overstaying his welcome, Nathaniel Hackett, even though his welcome was not long, he had less than a year as a head coach, but it went horribly bad. And I think that the Broncos wanted to just go ahead and get a head start on the new coaching search. So they jumped out there and made the first fire of this year. Well, not the first fire of this year, the second one, I guess.
Yeah.
The Panthers got ahead too, but yeah, what do you think though with the Broncos now? What's next for them? They did mention that today the GM said that Russell Wilson is quote unquote fixable. I would take offense to that if I'm Russell Wilson, but I know he's a nice guy. But what do you think about the state of the Broncos after they're firing Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah, man. It's kind of crazy with only 2 games left to fire him, but like I said, trying to get ahead of it. But I also think a big part of that is just the constant fighting on the sidelines. Like he's completely lost the team. And you still have great defensive players. You still look at your team and you're like, okay, we have a good running back that we just drafted this year. We still have Cortland Sutton and what's his face on the other side of the ball, the receivers, right? So it's like, I feel like Sean Payton's a really good candidate for that team if they could convince him to come back and coach for him. You know what I mean? He's used to short quarterbacks. You get more of a mobile one with Russell Wilson than say Drew Brees was. So if anybody can fix Russ, it's probably Sean Payton. You know what I mean? So I think it really, really depends on the coach, what coach they get, if they could actually really kind of fix this team. But even with the bad coach, you still would have thought that they would have been better this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right.
So who knows?
Yeah, and that's what Anthony, I think, is alluding to too. Are we sure it was 100% Hackett? I don't think 100% for sure, but somebody had to pay for what was going on. I feel like they just had to make a move, just to at least show their fans that they were still going to continue to try. So, let's see the playoff scenarios. I want to get your thoughts on a returning player to the Panthers to close it out. But the playoff scenarios, real quick. The Ravens, the Chargers, and the Bengals all clinched playoff spots this week on the AFC side. The NFC side stayed unchanged, but there were some new people that came into the fringe. The Giants, the Commanders, the Bucks, and the Dolphins all have a chance to clinch a playoff spot with victories and some little things this weekend. And then we added some more people to the elimination game. The Browns, the Colts, and the Falcons officially eliminated from the playoff scenario. So hopefully our teams continue to stay out of the gray. But if your Panthers can win this weekend, then they will be in that fringe to potentially get in on the last week. So we'll see how that works. The not the Broncos, the Dolphins, they are playing for that spot. So I do think what we were talking about earlier that might influence the Tua decision,
True.
but we'll see. Let's see. Anthony Weston mentioning the Broncos. That job isn't as attractive as Cardinals or Colts. No draft capital, bad quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they'll figure it out though. So we'll see. And then also Anthony Weston with some other playoff scenarios. Packers win out if they win out if Washington or Giants lose one. My bad. Sorry, I read that wrong. But yeah, if the Packers win out, they have a chance to get in if the Washington or the Giants lose one game, which I think that'll happen definitely between the Giants and the Commanders. It's just if the Packers can win out. They got a big one against the Vikings this weekend, so we'll see. We'll see what they can do there. Let's see though. I do want to hear your thoughts on Josh Norman returning to the Panthers and what you think that means, if anything.
I wasn't necessarily a huge fan, especially because our DBs have actually been playing really well. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, Henderson's actually been having a better season than we thought he'd be having. You already know how I feel about J.C. Horn. That kid's clamps. So he's literally, like number one or number two in like all cornerback scenarios this year right now. So he's an absolute monster. I think they're trying to do it just a little bit to try to bring in a veteran guy against the Bucs, because they do have a chance at winning the division if they can beat the Buccaneers. And Bucs have been getting down early, and then somehow Tom Brady comes in and kind of gets them back in it late in these games. So first half of these games, Tom has like 120 passing yards and somehow ends with 270. So I think they're doing it for this scenario in particular, but not really sure how I feel about it. He hasn't really played all year. You know what I mean? So being in shape, being in football shape are two different things. So it also worries me a little bit on him getting burned. So not a huge fan about it, but he does know Wilkes. He does know his defensive scheme. So if you could plug somebody in, and if we're being completely honest, Norman did have his best season as a cornerback with that team and that defensive scheme. So, hell, that's what got him paid when he went off to what's it called? So,
yeah,
if he can come back and just be somewhat of the Josh Norman he was in 2015, awesome. But I don't think so. So I don't know.
Right, that was a long time ago. And as Anthony West said, Horn is hurt. He's banged up. So
yeah, he is.
Just adding that depth, but it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, if he's coming in with the understanding of like his role and potentially just being like an extra coach out there and somebody that's smart, like you said, that doesn't have to be taught too much.
Yeah.
We'll see what they get out of him. But yeah, I think I was like, hopefully he doesn't have to make too big of an impact. They could just like slide some other people up. So
yeah,
we'll see. But all right. I think that pretty much wraps it up for NFL talk. We'll go ahead and keep this train moving forward with a couple other quick topics before we wrap out the show. So here we go. All right, NBA talk. So a quick NBA talk. We did have the Christmas Day games, and it was a lot of fun to kind of have that in the background. I did get to watch some of the Lakers game. They came out firing a little bit early, but struggled late. And as LeBron said, life is kind of tough without AD for them right now. But something interesting also happened on Sunday at the Mavericks game. They unveiled this Dirk Nowitzki statue that we have in the top right. And I don't know if you've seen this thing or not, but it is like a monstrosity. It's like over 20 feet tall, and it's him doing his like lean back, lean shot. It's pretty gangster though. Like I think that's a pretty cool statue to have up there.
Yep. No, I actually the statue is actually super legit. You know what I mean? Like as far as his signature 1 foot fadeaway. You know what I mean? But it is pretty crazy on just like how huge it is.
It looks like it's gonna fall over. Like I'd kind of be nervous to walk underneath it. Like it looks like he's leaning so far back that he might fall. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see that in person, honestly. And it's funny. Anthony Weston just popped in. He said he's gonna go down and see it in person. I go by downtown quite a bit. So yeah, you'll have to get us some pictures and do maybe a little bit of SLAC reporting, live from the field for us. Maybe get us a little video of what that looks like when you see it, because that is pretty interesting. But I get it. Dirk was very loyal. I think it's funny. I think the thing says like they had a banner that they unveiled with it, and it might say it on the plaque or something, but it says something like "Loyalty never fades away." I think that's pretty gangster, you know what I'm saying, to go with the fade away statue. And he brought them single-handedly that championship against the Heat, big three. So you got to give it up, man. He was on fire during that series. Like seeing him play and just, you know, the level of performance, you can't ever really like question that, you know, that series. So
dude, it's literally the complete opposite of the 2006 championship when Miami went down and Dwayne Wade just went crazy. You know what I mean? Like Mavericks also went down to 0-2, and then Dirk just went ape shit against my boys, bro. Like,
yeah,
you can't take that away. You know what I mean? You definitely can't take that away from him.
Agreed. Anthony Weston said he needs to go to a game. That would be cool. The Mavs tickets are I think they're kind of hot right now, you know, with Luka and everything. That really is helping them. Pop says over LeBron. Yeah. That's what you don't see in the statue there is him trying to be guarded. A couple of the things we do have on here, though, the Nets, the one of the hottest teams in the league, have a 9-game win streak that they're going on right now. Also, Kevin Durant passed Tim Duncan for, I think it was, hold on one second, for 15th on the scoring list. Yeah. So he continues to move up the ranks. But yeah, the Nets are getting hot at the right time. Yeah. And it's interesting to see if they can salvage this season. I hate to say this out loud, but I'm just waiting for the next drama to happen, the next drama piece, the next trade request, the next something. But I feel like if they can continue to focus on basketball, they're still a really, really good team. So
yeah, again, man, we talk about the football coaching, man. You know what I mean? It's like a coach can totally change. They have too much talent to be as bad as they were. You know what I'm saying? Like to be coming up in the the play-in tournament and stuff like that. In the East, like you guys are way too talented for that. But coaching changes everything. You know, you go in with an identity now, and not just hey, we're going to rely on KD and Kai to do one-on-one every single play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now you got other guys getting involved. Other guys are making shots. They're relying on other dudes to hit open three. You know, it's just coaching, man. It's just coaching. So now I'm with you. I'm still waiting for the next drama. I still don't see them. Celtics are just too damn good right now. I hate to say it. I hate that team, but they're just too damn good right now. 76ers are playing really, really well, too. I think they're on how many? What is it? 9-game win streak tonight, maybe possibly?
Possibly tonight, 9. Yeah, they're right behind the Nets as another team that's heating up and moving up the ranks in the East.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering what Pops was thinking about that, if he's been watching his boys or if he's still a little bit upset with them. Yeah. But I definitely wanted to put them with the up arrow as well because they're getting hot right now too. They're kind of working some things out, which is good to see. In the middle, we have our kind of main story here. I wanted to put it a little bit bigger so we could check it out. But Ja Morant got his new Nike logo. It was unveiled over this week, and then also his signature shoe, which we see here. He was rocking. And a lot of people are making comparisons to his logo on the top left to Kobe's Mamba logo on the top right. I think the shape is kind of similar, but I think that's kind of like stretching a little bit. Like but I actually think that the Ja Morant is fire. Like the jaw and his initials with the Nike symbol underneath that. I really like the logo. So
it's pretty dope. It's dope.
I think for especially I don't know about kids these days, but shoes are even bigger now than they were for us. And we know how big and important shoes were for us.
Mm-hmm.
So to have your own signature shoe, that is pretty legit. And I think it's kind of cool for Ja. He's been in line to get his for a while, but I think that the whole Kyrie Irving thing kind of accelerated them being like, okay, we need another signature line. We need another signature shoe, a point guard, small guy kind of shoe. So
yeah. And honestly, right now, who better than him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, especially I got to give Memphis kudos. They're looking really good in the West, and they're one of those young and up-and-coming teams. That was another great Christmas Day game, though, with the Warriors kind of eking it out. And and Clay having a little bit of a flashback on defense. That's cool.
But
the Grizzlies are definitely something to for them to be worried about, in the long run. So let's see. Pop says Sixers still suck constructed this way, can't win a title. But they're playing well at least. You never know what might happen in the playoffs. And Anthony West says Harden would consider going back to Houston. That's crazy. I don't think so.
He missed the lifestyle. I'm saying he missed the lifestyle.
he's put up a lot of banners, and he's put a lot of people through college. We'll just put it that way.
For real.
But last little NBA story before we get going on there. It was just kind of interesting. I just wanted to see how y'all would feel. I'd be nervous with this one, but the Jazz were hosting the Spurs. I think it was yesterday, and there was like a security incident. They had started letting people into the building. There was they said about 1,000 people in the stands, fans that had come in, and then there was a security issue, and they stopped all the rest of the fans from being able to come in, and they had to wait outside for between 30 and 40 minutes. They said that there was a delay before they let people continue coming in. I'd be tripping, honestly. I feel like that'd be kind of nerve-wracking, you know what I'm saying, to be in there, especially the people that are already in there. They're like, okay, you're not letting nobody else in. Like, what's going on? Should I leave or whatever? But I'm curious what it was. But they basically just, said that the threat was cleared, and then they let everybody in. But the tip-off was delayed about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. Honestly, I'm kind of with you, man. Like, I understand not wanting to start like a riot, right? So, but I do feel like once you say the issue is cleared, I kind of feel like you owe it to the people to kind of let them all know kind of like what happened, because you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta like let's just say it was a bomb threat, right? Like, I would like the opportunity to be like, they said it's good, but like, give me the opportunity to be like, okay, I'll come back another day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah,
like,
I don't know.
If you think the threat is gone, that's cool, but I still might be paranoid. You know what I'm saying? I still might be like, I'll rather go home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to take the risk.
I'll watch this one from the crib.
Exactly. Yeah, I would probably feel like that. And I wonder for those people that were inside if they were allowed to leave or if it was just like the stadium was on lockdown, because I would feel like that too. If I was inside and they said, oh, we're not letting nobody more in, I'd be like, if there's a reason for that, then I want out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
Don't leave me in limbo. But that's very interesting, with so many, well, I hate to say this, you know what I'm saying, like knock on wood type of thing, but with so many people in so many games and mass gatherings, I always feel a little uncomfortable like that.
Me too.
That many people, because if something were to happen, how many people can realistically get out? What's going to happen type of thing. So that would probably have me super anxious if I was in that scenario, one of those fans. Like you said, I'd probably be watching from the crib. I'd be like, I'm going to go ahead and dip out. So
I'm going to scalp these tickets on the outside and I'm going to head back to the crib.
Right. Yeah, Kelly said if I was inside and they stopped letting people in, I'd be freaking out. Same for me. I'd be like, okay, wait a minute, because if you're just trying to minimize the casualties, I don't want to be one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, no, I got to get up out of here. So, interesting story though. Definitely wanted to kind of mention that one, but we'll see if more comes out about that. I doubt that they will. Like you said, they won't want to cause like concern and panic, but that story enough for me made me feel a little bit anxious. So,
let me out.
Anthony Weston says it was a story, so that is true. Then that he does want to go back to Houston. Pop says good riddance. So that'll be interesting to see if it plays out. But I feel like Harden has he's like a cat with 9 lives. Like, you used up your lives, man. Like, there's no more now. Now you just got to play, be as good as you can, and hope things work out. But you can't keep just saying, I want to go here, I want to go there. I feel like, especially as time goes on and his skills diminish, like, it just don't work like that anymore for you. Seriously. So, but we'll see.
Like, what do you want?
He doesn't know. That's the problem.
Yeah, what is it that you want? Like, are you looking to go and just catch up with D'Antoni somewhere? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you looking to actually compete for a top championship? Like, because you still ain't got one. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because he said all the right things when he went to the Nets. Then he said all the right things when he went to the Sixers. So it's like, I don't know. It's tough to trust it.
Yep.
All right, let's keep this thing moving, though. Let's go to our last topic of the night.
So what's next again?
Other sports?
Oh, yeah, other sports. Okay, so not football.
Yeah, not basketball. We did that already.
Oh, okay, like hockey.
Yeah, like hockey. Feel me?
Okay, like baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Like soccer, right?
There we go.
Like soccer.
Like other sports. All right, we got other sports to round out the show. A couple different things going on here, but the biggest things for other sports this weekend is the New Year's 6 bowl games and just the fact that we're in full bowl season as it is. I'm super excited for the college football playoff games that will be happening on Saturday. We got TCU versus Michigan and then Ohio State versus Georgia.
Yeah.
I think those should be some pretty good games. Honestly, I don't know why, but I'm more nervous about this game than any Georgia game so far this year. I'm not exactly sure why. I guess it's just because it really, really matters now. But I still expect them to make it through and to go back to back. But I was kind of thinking maybe we should do some predictions for these games with the Slackers. I think that would be pretty legit.
Yeah.
Kelly says, "Woohoo, go Dogs!" Anthony Weston says, "You guys got to put the National Badminton Tournament on there." That would be fun. We do need to film some new intros. You know what I'm saying? We need to film some new intros soon. So we'll have to work on that. Maybe we can add some badminton in there. But out of besides the 2 playoff games, out of the New Year's 6 games, those other 4, what do you like most out of those matchups?
Hate all these teams. Now, I think the Sugar Bowl, I think the Sugar Bowl is probably the biggest ones. You know what I'm saying? I really like to see how Alabama kind of finishes the year. I know their 2 best players said that they're actually going to play in that game. I'm curious if they're going to play the whole game or if they're going to play like half of it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But we'll see what happens there. USC, I'm curious too. You know what I'm saying? Still a little butthurt about quarterback and coach jumping ship. You know what I'm saying? So looking for USC's demise. You know what I'm saying? A little bit, like see them lose. But I think the Orange Bowl might actually be pretty good. I think Tennessee and Clemson, I think those teams are probably pretty evenly matched. So I'm curious to see how that game's going to go too. But I think one of the ones I'm kind of really curious about is the Alabama game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're going to want to come out and make a statement, you know, and let people know that they're mad that they didn't make the playoff, and that's fine. You know, that's their right. But I agree, though. If they come out and they start to stomp on Kansas State, are those players going to be, you know, those top draft picks, those top 5 players, Anderson and Bryce Young, going to be wanting to play the whole game or not? Or is Kansas State going to potentially give them a fight? You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Anthony Weston says he's interested in that one as well. He says K-State is my sister's alma mater.
Yeah.
Also mentioned long time off for these teams. That's what I don't like.
I know, me neither.
That this first playoff game, especially, that gives teams the most time to prepare and to scheme. And I feel like there's more upsets that happen in that first playoff weekend than in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's more time for Ohio State to prepare for us. I don't know if that's what's making me nervous, but it's more time for our defense to prepare for them too. So,
yeah.
I just am kind of anxious, though, just to get it popping and to see if they can
get it over with, get it started.
Yeah, exactly. I'm ready because it was a long time off and it has been a long wait since we've been able to see them play. But let's go ahead and go down and make some predictions. So TCU, Michigan, I've got Michigan in that one. I feel like that they have unfinished business. So I'm going with Michigan in that one. Who you got in that one?
I got Michigan as well. I think they're really talented. And, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things too, man. It's like, you know, you want to get back some of these bigger old college teams who have been, you know, who make college football, kind of getting back to that championship. So I think Michigan again too.
Yeah, I agree. It's better. It's same thing with, you know, the Lakers in the NBA or, you know, the Yankees in baseball. It's like when those franchise banner teams are doing well, like it just helps everybody. So, Anthony Weston's going for TCU in that game, Texas Pride. Ohio State, Georgia. I'm going with Georgia. I think that they have enough to get it done. As long as the offense doesn't stall out too much, we should be fine with that one. Who do you got in that one, though?
I got Georgia in this game too. They're better all around. But I think that, you know, I feel like Stroud's going to be the second pick in the draft regardless, but he still has to play hard. You know what I mean? Like he still needs a really big game, I think, to at least give Ohio State a chance. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like that Georgia defense is just too much for everybody, in my opinion. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're right about CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be a great player, but we're gonna teach him a thing or two about how Georgia plays. Let's go down the New Year's 6 bowl games. You want to make a prediction for those? Tennessee, Clemson. Who you got in that one?
I got Clemson, man. I feel like they're just, you know, I feel like they're probably a little better coach. I think Tennessee had a great run, but they kind of struggled towards the end of the season. I think Clemson wins it.
I agree. Yeah, Tennessee got a little bit ahead of themselves this year, which is great for building the program.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think they're really ready at that level yet. So I'm going with Clemson. Sugar Bowl, Alabama, Kansas State. I think I'm on Alabama for that one.
I'm going for Kansas State though.
Right. The Cotton Bowl, USC should be able to take care of Tulane, in my opinion.
Yeah, they should. Tulane had a good season, but USC should definitely finish this one out.
Agreed. And then Utah versus Penn State, which actually is going to be like probably the more physical game out of all of them. That should be a pretty fun game to watch.
For sure. I don't know, man. I think I don't know. Penn State might get the dub, but Utah's been really good this year too, so we'll see. That one might be actually a really good one.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a close game. Kind of a toss-up, but I'm going with Utah on that one. I feel like they prepare for their opponents well, and they're a physical team like that. That's, when it gets down to it, that's what wins a lot of football games.
Very true.
Anthony, yes, the Tennessee quarterback is out for that game, so he will not be playing. Some other things on here. We have the Premier League has returned. My favorite soccer team, Arsenal, is doing really well. They actually have a pretty nice lead. They have a 7-point lead in the Premier League table. It's just under halfway through the season, and it was good to see them return from the World Cup and get a victory to kind of start their campaign up again. I don't know. I'm trying not to get my hopes up for them, but I think this might be the year that they actually win the Premier League title. Yeah. So we'll be keeping close tabs on that. Some boxing news, Jermell Charlo. People are saying he's ducking this guy. His name is Tim Sue. I don't know how to say his last name exactly, but I think that's how. But he's an Australian guy with big power. Jermell Charlo was gonna fight him on January 28th, but now got a doctor's note saying he has a fracture in his hand. Everybody's wanting to see the actual X-rays to see the receipts. They're like, if you had an X-ray, then why don't you show us the actual fracture? Yeah. If you're in that position, what do you think? Like, would you show it, or would you feel like you don't have to show that? Like, people should just believe you?
I feel like if it's me, no one cares. But I do kind of feel like in where you're, I don't know, it's tough. Should he have to? Absolutely not. HIPAA, right? But at the same time, it's kind of like, at the same time, like you're boxing, you're a high profile boxer, and you're like, oh, all of a sudden, like, oh, I can't do it. If you got it, like, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got it and you actually had the fracture, there's no real reason to hide it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just kind of is what it is. Either you have the fracture or you don't. And if you got the doctor's note to say that you have an actual fracture, you don't, like, I don't know. But he it's so tricky, you know what I'm saying? It's like, as a fan, it's like, yeah, I kind of want to see it too. You know what I'm saying? But like, he shouldn't have to feel obligated to show these people, fans or whatever, his business, you know what I'm saying? So
I agree. I think that's what's funny is, like, for me, I'd be like, screw you. Like, I don't have to show nothing. Like, it is what it is. Because they are still going to fight. This is like a mandatory title defense for him. Yeah. So they are still going to fight, but people are saying he's scared of the power, that he's trying to figure things out. He needs more time. My thing is, though, if I wouldn't show anything, I don't think he has to show anything. Yeah. But when the fans started questioning him, and then he came out and he's like, look, I'll show you a picture of my doctor's note. Like, to me, I'm like, why even show the doc? Once you show something, you might as well show the actual X-ray. Like, the doctor's note doesn't mean anything. Like, so taking a picture of that is weird, like, to me.
Bro, these doctors are so corrupt nowadays. That doctor don't mean nothing.
Right, exactly. Like, we got doctor's notes, you know what I'm saying?
For reals.
Pop says giving critical information to the opponent. I see that. I agree with that. They could have just said, I have a hand injury, and not say, like, it's this or that. And maybe that's why they don't want to show the fracture, to show where it's at or to show where that weakness might be. But we'll see. I don't know. I just feel like once he, like, stepped out to try to show receipts, like, then you got to show the right ones, or else
right. Yeah, right. So we don't give a damn about this receipt.
And speaking of doctor's notes, too, our last story of the week, we got Carlos Correa. Was one of the bigger free agents, position player free agents this year in MLB. He signed with the Giants, and I want to get the numbers right. 13 years, $350 million, right? Yeah. And then failed his physical. There was an issue with his leg. And so they, instead of working things out, he actually spurned the Giants and signed with the Mets for 12 years, $315 million. So one less year and a little bit less money per year. Now going through the physical with the Mets, he also failed the physical for the same reason. So apparently right now the Mets and Correa's people are working through it, is how they described it. But he's already said that he's not trying to renegotiate the contract that they agreed upon. So we'll see. I'm wondering exactly how bad this leg issue is. But why did he think that it was going to be a different result? That's my question.
I was thinking the same exact thing when I saw this. I was like, do they do like if you have a leg that injury is not going away? You know what I'm saying? Like if you like the teams want to know the same exact thing. So what did they think they're just going to be like? Oh, okay, well he failed it in San Francisco. Let's not test the leg here. Like no, that's a huge investment. You know, that's a huge $300+ million. Like that's crazy huge. They want to. They're like, nah, we can't give you that much money if there's an injury hindering you for any reason. Like there's no way. So I have no idea why he thought that he was gonna pass this one after failing that one.
Yeah, I agree. That's my question too. But you know, especially I agree with what they're saying as far as like the longevity too of it. Like if there's an injury concern now, and we're talking about a 12-year contract, and he's already what is he like? I think he's like 28 or approaching 30 already.
So yeah, he's
not young in the game, like as far as he's been around for a while. Yeah. So we'll see if he lands this big contract or not. I think that they're trying to put more contingencies and make it so that not all that money is guaranteed. But we'll find out what's happening with that. Pop says serves him right, cheater. Unk says, so who did Carlos Correa sign with? So he's still signed with the Mets, Unk, but he's still working through. They're trying to work through the physical issue to see if he's actually going to join them or not. But he's kind of in limbo with the Mets right now. Anthony Weston says he's going to end up on another 1-year contract with the third team. That'd be crazy if somebody just came out of nowhere and was like, look, we might be a contender. Let us just, give him $30 million for the 1 year and he can prove himself and kind of do it that way. But that would be kind of a big gamble. So we'll see how this saga ends, but it's kind of interesting that he's like one of the last remaining, like more prized position players. There's still some pitchers out there, but he's one of the biggest free agents left out there. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. I think that's all we really had for this week, though. We did our thing on that one, and we'll talk more about the bowl games for sure. Basketball is just kind of rolling along, and then the playoff scenarios in football, we're watching those very closely. But another great week, with the holidays and stuff. Lots of sports on last weekend, and lots of sports to look forward to this weekend as well. So, Alex said, have you seen the salaries of soccer players? Yeah, soccer players is insane. The type of money that they make. That's that real international money. And then also too, so many leagues competing for these top guys. So if you're a top flight soccer player, you got a lot of options on where to go. So, Anthony Weston says, you have money when 1 year for $30 million is a gamble. But hey, I can see the Yankees doing it. I can see them try it or something like that. I don't know. So, one thing I did want to mention real quick, I forgot to mention earlier, is I want to shout out Unk. For winning this year's this week's pick'em. So that's his second win of the year, and this year was 14-2. So great job. Only missed a couple. Mom's right on time too. Yeah. Only missed a couple. I think the Titans and one other game that Unk missed. So great job with that. 14-2. That's super legit. That's what we aspire to do. So great job, Unk. Sure. Your second time. You can't claim it's luck this time. You know what I'm saying? Before you try to say, "Oh, I just got lucky." No. You know what I'm saying? You're doing something right. So good job with that.
It was only a couple of weeks ago. So yeah.
Yeah. And keep those picks coming. See, I knew you were gonna say that. He says that every time. But yeah, and Anthony Weston, I wasn't gonna mention it, but yeah, he said he was upset with his fantasy team. So the children of Thanos, man, they're going for the three-peat. We scraped our way into the playoffs, and we took out the number 1 seed, the Myrmidons, this weekend. And so I was very excited about that. I have a chance to go for the three-peat. And so wish me luck. You know what I'm saying? Cut some players if you have to. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, I'm really hoping I can bring it home for us one more time. So thank you, Anthony, for a great battle, though. It was close like all weekend, literally like after Thursday, after Saturday, after Sunday, and going into last night. We needed Keenan Allen to have a big one, and he had 20 points for me last night to bring us back. So, so that was super legit. So thank you, Keenan Allen. Sorry, Weston, but that was a great battle, and you had a great team this year. So I was nervous, but I'm glad we made it through. Unk said, when are we doing NBA pick'em? We got to figure that out because Unk has given us a prize to give out. So we're gonna do an NBA pick'em. At this point, though, we missed the Christmas Day. we might have to do it an MLK type of thing. We might have to do an MLK day because that's a big basketball weekend. And I think basically every team plays either the Sunday or the Monday of MLK weekend. So maybe we'll do a pick 'em for that. We'll do all those matchups, and then whoever wins that pick 'em will win the prize that so graciously gave us. So I think we'll do the pick 'em for MLK. That'll be a cool celebration. And then also, real quick, mentioned Ed Reed coaching Bethune-Cookman. We did not mention that, but thank you for texting us that. Text us that right before the show. I think that's legit. It might be like another Deion Sanders situation. Some more high-profile coaches getting a chance to build real programs there and then move up. I'm wishing him the best. What do you think?
Me too, man. Same thing. You already know how I feel about Ed Reed. That's my favorite safety all time, man. So shout outs to him. Love to see him back doing something, within football. And what better to be coaching the next generation. So hats out to him. I hope he does well. Like I said, I hope he does kind of like how Deion did with Jackson State. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. That would be really dope. And Unc hopes he does well as well. So it should be good. Yeah, the defense should be good at the very least. Sometimes I always wonder about some of those guys though, where they're really smart and also like they have really great instincts. It's hard to coach that, right? So can you coach that? Can you repeat that and get your players to start seeing things like you did? But yeah, I'm wishing nothing but the best for him, and we'll have to watch that program and see how they blossom.
My dude. There you go, David, the big Ravens fan. He said just in time to hear Ed Reed's name. That's hilarious.
There you go. Thank you, David, for joining the show. We appreciate it. And yeah, Ed Reed's name is always a great one to hear for sure. But thank you for joining the show. Even though you're a little late, we're about to sign it off. But hope you have a happy New Year and hope everybody out there stays safe this weekend. I know I'll be at the crib. I'm not going anywhere on New Year's. I'm gonna be at the crib watching my Georgia Bulldogs. You know what I'm saying? Advance in the playoffs, and then all day New Year's probably just kicking in and watching football. This will be the first New Year's in a while where we have Sunday football, NFL football, full slate of games on the NFL, and then also the bowl games as well. So that should be pretty exciting. That should be pretty cool to watch. So, good stuff there. But yeah, until next time, that was episode 174 of Say Like a Champ. Happy New Year's again to all the slackers out there. Anthony West says, I'll be at home with the PS5. That's what's up. That's the place to be. Yep. Stephanie Washington, Happy New Year's, everyone. Happy New Year's to you too as well. Stay safe, especially out there in Vegas. I know it gets cracking out there, so definitely stay safe. But until next time, Strizzy, real quick, do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, man, that was basically it, man. You hit the nail on the coffin, man. Just stay safe out there. You know what I'm saying? New Year's is a wild time of year, you know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna be out and about, just make sure you're safe and you know what I'm saying, stay within your group, you know what I mean? Stay within your group.
Yeah, stay with your peoples. Strizzy and I have personally seen some crazy stuff on here together.
Some wild stuff.
So yeah, we know how it can be, but yeah, definitely stay safe out there. And we'll see y'all in 2023. Oh no, we'll see y'all one more time. Thursday, secure the bag. Watch that so you can get our picks for this week. And then we'll see y'all with episode 175 in 2023. But until then, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy.
Signing off for our boy Marcus too. Wishing him the best as well. Peace.